Hi book friends, this is Kat. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, it is my April TBR. I feel like I'm cutting it kind of close, but we're here. So as you also see from the title, I am doing something a little bit different. So before I do that, let's go ahead and see how I did for the month of March. So in March, my first roll, I had a challenge, and that was the prompt with Aurora and Philip, which was to visit a new to me bookshop. Here's a picture of the bookshop that I did go to. My husband and I actually went on a trip, and this was a bookshop we stopped by. All right, the second roll was a random color, and I had to pick a genre, which was mystery / thriller, and for that I picked silence, and I did read that. The third roll was another challenge, and I landed on Mulan and Shang Li, and their prompt was to create a poem based off of a character, and as of filming today, I have not done that, nor do I think will I get around to it. Number 4, I landed on the prompt EASTER in the title, and I also had to have a genre pick, which was biblical fiction. And for that, I was supposed to read The Pharaoh's Daughter, and I did not get to this book. The next roll was another challenge, and I landed on Hades. And for this, the book I was supposed to read was The Looking Glass Illusions, and I did not get to this one either. And the last roll was random color, which I generated this color. And so for that, I did pick the book Ariadne and the Legend of the Fire Rose. As you can see, I am not done with it. This is the book that I'm currently reading through. I'm on page 95 right now, but I do plan on finishing this book before the month is out. So, as you can see, I did fail my TBR. Now, during the month, I did read other books. I read a total of 8 books, which I will talk more about in my wrap up. So, it's not like I haven't been reading, but I've been reading other things for other videos. In addition to that, these past 2 weeks in March, today's the 29th. So the past 2 weeks I have hit kind of like a reading rut, and I feel that once spring break kind of hit, afterwards it's just been focusing a lot on the spring concert that I am putting together for my students the first week of April. So I think I've just had been having my brain divided between a lot of things. I don't even want to pick up audiobooks because of just all the different to-do lists that I have. So I think that attributed to me hitting this reading rut. But I feel like I'm getting out of it because I am enjoying this book. But again, I'll talk more about this book later. So let's go ahead and just talk about what this month is going to look like. So as I mentioned in April, that first week is basically we're preparing for our spring concert at my school. And so I know that my mind's going to be divided a lot for that. But in addition to that, I am feeling that I want to try a new challenge. So we'll see how it goes. But the challenge that I am going to attempt for the month of April is the 1 week, 1 shelf challenge. This challenge was created by the booktuber Emily Fox. So I will put the name linked right here. And she is the originator of this challenge, and I've just enjoyed seeing a lot of different booktubers use this challenge and made it their own, and I feel that this would be a good challenge to do in April, so that way I can mix up my reading, I feel. So what is this 1 week, 1 shelf challenge? Well, it was created to read a lot of your owned books off of your shelves. Now, I don't really have a lot of owned books. The bookshelf you see behind me is a lot of like extra like reference books or just some other nonfiction that might deal with like decluttering or whatnot, and there might be like a few other miscellaneous stuff. So the shelves that you do see in some of my other videos are the books that I do own, and that is usually my read shelf. So my unread shelf, I only have one of those, and it is in the living room. So I don't have a lot of unread books, but I do have some. So I adapted this reading challenge to fit me, and I will go through that in a moment. I just want to go through some of the logistics of how the month is going to look like. So the 1 week, one shelf challenge, basically you will pick one shelf to read for that entire week. And usually booktubers that I've seen categorize their books based off of genre. And so they would pick a shelf and they would read that one shelf and usually one genre for the week. And then usually they'll do another week or something like that. So I am planning to do something similar to where the whole month of April I will read 4 different shelves. So the first week, one shelf, second, so on and so forth. So how my video postings are going to be is I am going to post every Sunday what I've read for that week. So there will be a total of 4 videos. So I'm not going to have a preset TBR. It's basically going to be a week by week like surprise. So that's like the logistics. And I'm actually going to start tomorrow, which is May 30th. And I'm going to go from May 30th all the way to April 5th. And basically on Sunday is the video that's going to be posted for that week. So I am not going to vlog. I think I'm going to just read the book and then we'll come in and tell you my thoughts, and then I will pick my next book. So when I'm done with the book, then I will pick up another book on that shelf. And that's all the logistics. So let's go ahead and talk about these different shelves that I have. So because I only have one physical shelf, I am going to count that as shelf number 1. And I have a list of 12 shelves. So where do I get the other 11? That is going to be based off of my Goodreads TBR. And I have a 12-sided die that my husband uses in our regular TBR game. And so I will randomize my shelves based off of this die. So my physical shelf will be number 1. On Goodreads, I have shelved all my books based off of genre. So if I land on a 2, that's shelf 2, and that is my biblical retelling shelves. If I roll a 3, my 3rd shelf, that is going to be children/middle grade. A 4 is classics. A 5 is fairy tale retellings. 6 is all other fiction, literary, romance, contemporary romance, any other of the fiction. A 7 is my historical fiction. An 8 is my mystery/thriller/suspense. A 9 is nonfiction. A 10 is sci-fi/fantasy/dystopian. An 11 is going to be a mood pick of any shelf I want. So whatever I'm feeling, I can pick any of the other shelves. And then a 12 is actually going to be a husband pick of any shelves, of these shelves. So that's how I'm tweaking this challenge. I think it'll be really fun to do it this way and have an element of randomization. So I will actually choose in this video my first shelf. So stay tuned for that. In addition, there's another added randomness to this. I am going to randomize the book within the shelf. And I have a special way of doing that. So I created little prompts, basically randomizing what book I will pick from that shelf. I'm going to go through the prompts and then I'm going to walk through a scenario with you. So one of these prompts says most number of pages. Another one says lowest read. Oh, I'm sorry, lowest rated. Another one says author first in alphabet. So basically the author's last name, and I would put on Goodreads their name alphabetically. So editing cat here. So I didn't explain this well enough at first. Essentially what I'm going to do is on Goodreads with the setting, I'm going to put it in alphabetical order by the author's last name. So it would be ordered A to Z, and I will pick the author that is the highest on that list. So it could be an author that's last name starts with an A, or if I have like C as first on that list, then I would pick that one. In addition to that, we have author last in alphabet. This one says color. So randomize a color, and so that needs to just be on the cover. I have a husband pick. I have a mood pick, so any book that I am feeling. I have a continue a series. And so if I happen to not have a book that fits this prompt, the second prompt says on here, start a new series if I cannot fulfill the continue a series. Then I have highest rated, lowest number of pages, and then I have title. So first in the alphabet based off of, the title, and the or add does not count. So for instance, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, the wouldn't count. And so lion starts with an L. And if I have another title that starts with any letter that is previous to L, then I would choose that one over The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I hope that makes sense. And so the same with this one. This is title, but you're going to do it backwards. So if I have Wistress by Nadine Brandes, and that starts with a W, and I don't have any book before that has like X, Y, or Z, then I would pick that one. I hope that makes sense. So let's walk through a scenario. So if I rolled and was on shelf number 4, which is my classics shelf, I will go to my classics shelf on my Goodreads, and then I will randomly pick one of these. And so I picked lowest number of pages. So I would go on my Goodreads classic shelf, put the settings to lowest number of pages. I will pick the first one that I have not read yet, that is the lowest number. Let's say I completed that book within the 1 week. Then I will go back on my Goodreads and I will read the next book with the lowest number of pages. So that's how that scenario will play out. So I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions, you can always leave it down in the comments below and I will do my best to explain it. But that's how I'm going to do my reading for this month. Now, before we move on to picking my first read, let's go ahead and talk about some of the readathons or the other yearly challenges that I am doing. So for Alma's Journey Through the Decades, I had to read A Tangled Web by Ellen Montgomery, and I have not picked up that book yet, so I'm a bit behind, but I am planning to. I am still doing these yearly challenges in addition to this 1 week, 1 shelf challenge. So there are going to be some days where I will be reading 2 separate books, which is fine. So, for the Decades challenge, the prompt for this month, I am supposed to read a book that is set or is published in the 1940s. So I will find a book during the month. I might lean towards The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, but again, it just depends on my reading this month, but I am still planning to do Alma's challenge. I just don't have a set book right now for it. So, all right, my personal challenge, I am actually going to share that in another video because I still don't know what I'm going to pick up, but I do have a possibilities video that should come up after this video, so stay tuned for that. I believe that is all the logistics, and let's go ahead and see what we're going to be reading for this first week. I am very excited to get started with this. I don't know how it's going to play out, so hopefully this video is not super chaotic. So let's go ahead and start with our roll. Okay, so here's my 12-sided die, and so let's go ahead and see what my first roll is. And I'm sorry the camera's shaking. Okay, ooh, that is a 3. Let's see what a 3 is. Okay, so a 3 is children or middle grade. Okay, so as you saw, I landed on children/middle grade. So here are my circles, and I am going to randomly select. And after I select them, I am going to put them back in here so that way I could possibly draw them again. So, all right, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and see the first one. And this one says, ooh, highest rated. All right, that's exciting, and it's a great way to start because I can probably get through a few children/middle grade books. So let's go ahead and see what I have on my Goodreads. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Okay, so I pulled up my Goodreads, and the one with a 4.44 average rating is The Blameless by E.S. Christensen or Christieson. But this is great because this is actually on my 20 in 2025 list. So let's go ahead and see what The Blameless is about. The Blameless is a first book in a series, and it says, Brianna, Princess of Predonia, has lived a happy and sheltered life. Then in a single night, her kingdom is overthrown and centuries of peace are abruptly shattered. Fleeing for her life as her kingdom burns, Bree is rescued by Flinton, Derek, and Cove, 3 powerful protectors who pledge to teach her how to fight and use the powerful magic that has awakened within her. Bree finds sanctuary in the mountain stronghold of the Blameless, people who receive magical gifts from the gods after performing acts of unparalleled selflessness. Among them, Bree's grieving heart slowly learns to live and laugh again. With the help of her new friends, she strives to master her growing powers so she can avenge her family, take back her place as the rightful heir to the throne, and free her people from the clutches of a tyrant. But can one girl change the tides against an evil that has conquered an entire kingdom? So that sounds really interesting. And when I'm finished with that book, then I will just move on to the next highest rated and so on and so forth. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. It was a lot to kind of take in, I feel. As far as my husband, I forgot to talk about him, sorry. So as far as my husband goes, he is going to do his own sort of challenge. And like I have one shelf of unread books, he has one shelf of unread books. So his challenge for this month is to read just solely from that shelf and not, read books out of the library like he normally does. So he's going to dwindle, I guess, his TBR this month. So I will tell you what it is that he did end up picking up. All right. Lastly, I am not doing any like TBRs for any readathons. I do want to participate in Katie's readathon, the Spring into Movies. That looks like so much fun, and it's really fun to see what ideas she comes up with. So if I have any books that I can just slide into those prompts at the end of the month, I will do that, and I will tell you what I did end up putting there. But other than that, I'm not going to have anything really I'm going to focus on except this challenge and Alma's challenge and my own challenge. I hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, and I will see you in another video. Bye, guys.